Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud American from my birth to the grave. 47's the top, took a bullet for all. Didn't flinch, didn't run, still they answer the call. And we said, be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum show. Be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum show. Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud American from my birth to the grave. 47's the top, took a bullet for all. Didn't flinch, didn't run, still they answer the call. And we said, be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum show. Be tight, be tight, be tight. Officer Tatum show.
If you don't believe that we are in a fight today, you're sleeping under a rock. If you get hit and you lay down and you cry and you fold up in the corner, definitely you will not win the fight. We show up to win. Our culture needs a lot of you young people in here to step up and stand out. There is nothing or no principality, power, division, devil can stop us when we're united. They can only get you when you're divided. When I see the American flag, I see us progressing to something that can be awesome and great. And if you don't plan on winning then, you might as well go on today.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies, welcome back to another Officer Tatum show. Man, let's get busy, man. I don't need to waste no more time. Illegal immigrant. You know that fool that y'all seen over the weekend that tried to do a U-turn on the highway? Now, let me say this real quick. I don't think it's that hard to figure this out. We all know now that he was an illegal alien. He should have never been in this country. If you ask me, I think he should be put to death for what he tried to do. However, it makes no sense whatsoever on planet Earth for a person that allegedly has a valid CDL driver license to be traveling on a highway going 70 miles per hour, believe that it makes sense to come to a complete stop. You can't turn a semi truck at 30 miles per hour. And then from the wide lane, you come across the lane, don't even look in your rearview mirror or your side mirrors. You do none of that. Somebody dies as a result of crashing into your semi truck, and you don't even bat. I don't even think the guy frowned. He ain't think twice. And I'm going to show y'all that clip real quick, and then we're going to get into some details about how California, the one gave him a CDL driver's license, and I think that more people should be held accountable than just the driver. There's no way that this should have happened. Now, this is a clip of another scenario, not the one that we're looking at, but another scenario of somebody trying to do the exact same thing. And without a crash occurring, there's a CDL driving guy that he's incredibly funny. He kind of describes this so you can kind of see what this looks like when other people have tried to do this in the past. Roll the clip.
So you really finna do a U-turn right here in the middle of the interstate. Boy, I'm telling you what, it's like some people don't have the sense that come with common. Okay, it's like some people don't even, like, it's a sign right there, no U-turns. You see that sign up there? It clearly says no U-turns. That's for civilian cars, that's for four-wheelers, that's for 18-wheelers. That is there for a reason, and you're doing it. So we got some breaking news.
Now, Hurst, here we go. Now, this is the other clip that he was talking about that ended up in this crash. Just looking at the other video, how are you going to enter the highway in a semi-truck when cars are traveling 50, 60 miles? The interstate is 80 miles per hour, really. People are traveling between 65 and 80 miles per hour. How in God's green earth are you going to enter the freeway? That truck don't get up to speed fast. That thing going. You got to shift 45 gears before you can get to 20 miles per hour. And you're going. So this guy did this, and this is the aftermath of a tragic accident. Roll the clip.
Or the U-turn driver that made the U-turn in the middle of the interstate. Come to find out, this dude right here, he's an ILLEGAL immigrant, okay, with a CDL license. Man, you know they about to start cracking down, right? You know they about to. All it takes is one national news story like this right here. They about to start cracking down at them weigh stations. They about to start checking off everything. They about to start checking everybody. I just truly believe that right there. But they say this dude right here entered the country the wrong way. And when he entered the country the wrong way, he came through Mexico. And, man, it's just a sad situation, man.
They got a CDL license. Okay. Do we have a video from within the vehicle itself?
No. Oh, you mean like a picture?
Just the video footage of the crash from the vehicle. We should have that. All right, let's get to some facts real quick. So he held the California issued CDL driver's license. He also worked for a company who actually should be sued to oblivion. It's called White Hawk Carriers, INC. They're DBA'd as White Hawk, and they're out of California, and they got an A dot number and all of those stuff, a US dot number. I'm not going to give that out. I mean, I don't think that's relevant. And another crazy thing is that this dude is an Indian illegal immigrant. The owner of the White Hawk company is an Indian. And so you know what happened here. You know what this is why my wife is so adamant that we need to get these people out of our country. This man prioritized ethnicity and kinship over legitimacy. An illegal alien was issued a CDL driver's license, probably can't speak English, should not be over here, caused 3 people to be killed. How many of you guys in the comment section think that the company should be sued as well? You have a responsibility to not cheat and lie in order to get somebody a CDL driver's license. I don't know if California let illegal aliens get CDL driver's license, but I would argue that the company probably paid that he can get the CDL driver's license, and they probably helped him lie about his credentials and his status in order for him to get the CDL driver's license. And to be quite honest, whether you Indian or not, bruh, how do you make this turn? Roll the clip. Now, I don't know if he's in shock or what, but look at his facial expressions. Go back. He doesn't. Hold on, bro. If I'm driving a semi truck illegally, right? I'm an illegal alien. I shouldn't be in this country in the first place. And I'm looking at the sign and I'm like, I'm finna do an illegal U-turn on the freeway. I know I'm doing an illegal U-turn while being illegal. Boom! The whole car go up under the trailer. At some point, panic should set in on in your body language. Just go, oh my God. I'm going to prison. I'm getting deported. People have been killed. I should have never made that turn. What am I thinking? My life is over. I'm screwed. Do I run? Bro, did you see that? What happened? This fool did the turn and was like, I guess it's over. Then catch him outside. Did we got the video of him just right outside the vehicle, right after the crash? There's a display of it, I believe, this clip. After the crash, he's like standing right outside the vehicle. Play it again. Just play it. He just looks back there. And then they're going to show him right here. He's just standing right over here. They pulling dead kids and stuff or people out of that car, and he's just standing there with a blank look on his face. You don't need to speak English to not crash and kill people. Now, what I would say is that we need to make a change. And I think the president has already done something very similar to this, is that federal law requires carriers, it's called the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulation. All commercial truck drivers in the U.S. must be able to read and speak English. Why? Why should they be able to read and speak English? Because the mother freaking signs that you have to navigate as a CDL driver is in English. So if it says road closed and you don't know what a road closed mean, if it's saying no U-turn, well, you got to be stupid not to see the sign that do like this and it got an X on it. But if you can't read that, if you're trying to get to a certain location, you can't read a map. You can't be driving and hauling across interstate lines. Understand traffic signs and signals. Talk with police and officials. Fill out driving reports and records. If you can't speak English, how do you talk to police and officials? They shouldn't have to get an interpreter to talk to you because you're illegally in our country. How do you fill out driving reports if you don't know English? You can't write it in English. You can write it in Spanish. You can write it in Farsi or whatever. I don't know, whatever they speak. What do Indians speak? I don't know what they speak. Hindu? I don't know what people speak. I don't care. If you don't know English, I don't want to talk to you. Hindi. I ain't never heard that language before. But they speak that. Speak that over there. Don't come to America speaking Hindi. We speak English. A little bit Ebonics, but it's still English. All right? The rulers existed before Donald Trump. Under Trump, 2017 to 2020, enforcement was tighter. States were pressed to follow English standards more strictly. English proficiency ties directly to public safety and immigration control. What should be done? What should we do about this situation? Regulatory audits and enforcement. Review license policy. Penalties for non-compliance. Policy reform. This is the things that we should be doing to protect our citizens on the roadway that ignorant folk that shouldn't even be here. Look, American citizens have a grace period of being ignorant. Okay? They can be ignorant to a certain point. They break the law, they go to jail, but they can be ignorant, right? This state country, this state, they can choose whether to do right or do wrong. When you come here illegally and you're not a citizen, you have no rights. I think that people that, if you are responsible for the loss of life of other people, you should lose your life. Take them down there to the jail, put them in the chair or put them on a table, and that's all you got to do. Or you can line them up on that wall and let them, y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Some states still allow them to do that. Line them up on that wall. I think the men who be messing with these kids, they line them up on the wall. Shoot for the midsection first, and then you can finish it. I think you should take it and saw it off. Messing with kids. Don't let me start. Don't let me go down that path. I'm trying to be saved. I want to be saved. But I think they should go. They should lose their life. They come into our country illegally and take the life of another person. You should lose your life. There's no talking. There's no immigration. There's no talking. There's no constitution. We ain't talking about nothing, bro. You ain't supposed to be here. You ain't a part of this establishment. You didn't die. Your family members didn't die for us to be free. You don't have no rights. You ain't supposed to be here. You absolved of any constitutional rights. You go straight to hell. Well, you gotta go talk to God first, but then if you ain't got your life right, you probably gonna go to hell. But you ain't finna be here. That's all I'm saying. If I can't be the president, I would literally, if I could control, that's why we don't have a dictator. Because if I was a dictator, I'd say, what do you mean you come to this country illegally? Oh, everybody go. I don't give up what you doing. If your status is illegal, I'm talking about people that overstay their visa, within 30 days, 90 days, that's plenty of time to rectify anything that you had going on. You gone. Hey, man, it ain't my fault. Get it together. Don't come in here. I guarantee you if you restrict it, people be on top of their game. And if you take the life of a person here, we take you right out back. There's no nothing. There's no beyond a reasonable doubt. It's a preponderance of evidence. The preponderance of evidence says that 51% of the evidence show that you did this. Gone. I know we ain't gonna schedule it. What you mean? Take them out there right now. We got plenty of time, baby. Take them out there right now. Every one of them that did something, line them up one by one. I think it only take like an hour. Every hour on the hour, 24/7. You take the life of a person in America, you got to go meet God. That ain't our fault. That's your fault. Go meet him and you talk to him about it. You ain't got it's no more talking with us. You talk to him. I bet people won't come here no more. They come over here, they ain't committing crimes because you're going to go meet God. And and a lot of times y'all ain't ready to meet God. So you definitely don't want to go meet God that fast. But you finna go meet him, man. We ain't wasting taxpayer dollar on feeding you. You don't need to eat. You don't need to eat. You gonna either go out that way or you gonna starve. Whichever one come first. The greatest of the two demands. Whichever one come first. That's one thing I don't want to go on a rant, but that's one thing I don't understand about our criminal justice system. When you go to prison, why do you get 3 meals? You get 1 meal. You just need enough for you to walk to the toilet and back to and maybe for you to walk out the gate if we need you to. You don't need to eat 3 meals. You ain't doing nothing but going in circles in a 5x9. It maybe be a 6x9. Why do you need that much food for you to walk from here to there? You don't need food to get in shape and be built. You go to prison, you shouldn't want to be there. Dudes go to prison, get their master's degree. They come out swole. They're fitness models. And you should be starving when you come out of there. I bet you won't do it twice. Sleeping in 3 meals a day. What? Man, when I was a cop, I didn't eat 3 meals a day. Yeah, lucky I was intermittent fasting on accident. I would get one good meal a day. Maybe snack a little bit. You ain't going 3 meals a day. Y'all tripping. Let's go to the next story. Jubilee. I thought Jubilee had started a culinary art school the way they cooking was going on this show. Amanda Seals will get cooked. Somebody should have a new dish called Amanda Seals because she getting cooked. I'm talking about filet mignon cooked, which ain't cooked that much. I like it medium rare. I don't know about y'all. Any steak that's well done, that's a sin. That you go in hell, you eat your steak well done. But Amanda Seals, look at her. She looks insufferable. And Lord knows she is insufferable. I cannot listen to her talk for 30 seconds without me wanting to pull my hair out one by one and put a razor blades and then put salt on the top of it. I'd rather do that than listen to Amanda Seals talk. But thank God she decided to go on this show because every black conservative raked her over the coals. Well, let me go to the dude that ran to the chair. Whichever clip that is, the guy that ran to the chair. That's when I knew that he was getting ready to cook right there. This one? By the way he ran to that chair, I said he getting ready to cook. Roll the clip. Roll it.
So you said that black.
Hold on, go back. That's my favorite part. Hold on. If my brain was a person, this is how my brain reacts every time I hear an insufferable leftist. It's like, I can't wait to run and just dismantle them. Roll the clip. It's Brandon Brain right there. Watch out. I got this. Hold on.
So you say that black on black crime is due to underfunding and over-policing, essentially. Yes. I actually don't necessarily disagree with one of those. Okay. I think that, however, the government, who do you think should be responsible for the funding piece of the black community? Should that be something that the government should step into, or should that be something that we as black people need to handle ourselves? Dr. Jordan Peterson and even Thomas Sowell and several others have stated one thing, that poverty and crime, there's a positive correlation. There's also a positive correlation correlation in the black community of absentee fatherism being one of the root causes leading into criminality. Black males that grew up without a father are 10 times more likely to engage in criminal activity. And so I think one of the...
Can I put a pin right there and ask you a question?
Ask me whatever you like.
What is the root cause of there being less fathers present?
Bad decision making on the part of the fathers. We live in a patriarchal system. Like it or not, men have dominated the socioeconomic, economic, and political power of this country and the world since our existence. So our bad decision making, especially when we focus on the black community, is the root cause of fatherlessness.
What type of decisions?
Not marrying the women we decide to lay down and have children with. Not being careful with the seeds that we plant in women. No woman can get pregnant without a man planting his seed inside of her. So therefore...
So it's marriage.
Well, that's a part of it. Marriage is a part of it.
Okay.
But the true piece that I'm looking at is connectedness between familial units. The black community was at its economically strongest while being at its poorest during the segregation era. Prior to 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King in his last speech said that we have an annual income of more than $30 billion a year, which is more than all of the exports of Canada and more than all of the exports of the United States and more than the national budget of Canada. That was when we were economically at our poorest. Yet 80...
All right, that's one. We got more. He was cooking, but y'all got to go watch Jubilee. I can't play the whole clip. They'll get there. They really want to hit me, bro. That's why I ain't on there. I could tell y'all a story why they don't invite me back, but I won't bore you with the details. But Exhibit B, roll it.
My final claim is black conservatism fails to meet the needs of the working class.
ABL, boy. Hold on, shout it. That's ABL. Anthony Brian Logan. Come on, man. Let's see what Anthony Brian Logan got to say. Roll the clip.
Okay, talk to me.
Let's go, ABL.
I think black conservatives, we're the ones who really want the best for working people.
Oh.
I think we're the ones. Like a lot of the liberals, a lot of the leftists, they wanted to do things like office work. They wanted to go reparations, try to get things from the government and get handouts. We say, hey, go out there and work. Go out there and get these jobs that are available. Work with your hands. Do skilled trades. That's where a lot of us talk about skilled trades. So working class, that's really a black conservative thing, in my humble opinion.
I would beg to disagree. I think that would be true if black conservatism also created pathways for people to get those jobs and also to be able to challenge the corporations that are using their labor, that are stealing from them and not impeding them from having a union. So for instance, like in the South, right? I just left North Carolina where I met with the USSW, the Union of Southern Service Workers. This is an unofficial union of individuals who work at places like Waffle House, at Food Lion, etc. And their unofficial union is unofficial because the conservatives in that state will not allow for them to be officialized.
Legitimized.
Legitimized.
There you go. I got you.
It will not allow for them to be legitimized because then they would be able to push back legitimately on the corporations to get fair wages, right? So like someone was telling me in this organization that she was in Baltimore getting $15.25 as a minimum wage. And then when she moved just one state away, she was now only getting $7.25 for minimum wage, but the cost of living was the same for her. So when we talk about, you know, the effort of saying go out and get these jobs and get these trades, et cetera, I think that is valid, but I think that the impediments by leveling up corporations and by pouring into the effort of corporations to keep billionaires, as black conservatives, you are actually cutting off the ability for those people to excel.
Okay, I understand your point, but a lot of us are more about being self-sufficient. So the South, a friend of mine down there, King Randall, has a school for boys. He's 22 years old. He has a bunch of kids living with him. He's teaching them physical skills they can do. Okay,
yeah.
Being a mechanic, working on your car, working on your house, building things with your hands. So you don't got to worry about corporations. You could be your own man. You could be your own woman. And also, didn't you also say earlier that you're against unions? But are you for them now?
No, I never said that.
Oh, so you're for unions?
Absolutely.
So when the unions keep black folks out, you're for that as well? Because that's traditionally what they've done, keep black folks out, correct?
Obviously, I am not for that. The reality is that unions have definitely in the beginning kept black folks out. And the reason why they were keeping black folks out is because after the Civil War, when there was Reconstruction, you had all these black people that had been used with free labor and they had skills, right? Whether they were a blacksmith or a carpenter or whatever. However, they could not get jobs because the white people who now had to fend for themselves, if you will, because they didn't have slaves, they had to go and learn all these trades.
Right.
And so they actively kept black people out of those jobs. And then what they would do is that when they would, as a union, say, we're going on strike, the black people would be like, well, we'll work because they won't let us in their union anyway. And then when they would go and actually get those jobs that the people were on strike for, they would hang them. They would lynch them. So yes.
Time out. They just be making up stuff. Everybody that went for those jobs when the unions would strike, they would get hung by people. Roll the clip.
These are real things that have taken place. But we keep having these conversations where we acknowledge the past when it's convenient, and then we only stay in the present when it's convenient. So you can't simultaneously say, well, everybody's fine now and there's no systemic racism, at the same time as stating that there are unions that are racist and unions that aren't racist. Ultimately, there is racism in the United States. It is deeply embedded. We have seen it in a myriad of examples, even just yesterday or today. And Black conservatives are working against the working class because they are actively placing their vision, their ideology of Black excellence in economics solely.
Well, there is racism
and in individual economics.
Okay.
And I think that's really the big difference of what we're talking about right now. You're talking about every man for themselves. Every man for themselves.
No. I don't say that.
Oh, you didn't say that?
I say that we have to be individual as people, as Black people, but still get all of us on the same page. My friend's at school, he's not just looking out for himself, he's looking for all these kids as well. So it's like, okay, I bring myself up and then bring everybody else up, rather than relying upon the corporations and white people to lift this up. That's where we come from as Black conservatives. So I think there's a difference between relying on and acknowledging that there are impediments of. And I want to acknowledge the reality that we keep seeming to bump up against, which is that everybody has equal ability, and they don't. Everybody doesn't have the same impediments. So, for instance, I grew up with a single parent, not because... Me too.
I grew up with a single parent, not because my father was some deadbeat that didn't have... My father has a MD from Harvard. My father has an MBA from Tufts.
My dad was a firefighter, so working class, conservative.
He just didn't want to be a parent. So when we talk about this whole idea of like, oh, the Blacks that are, not doing the thing, it's not about necessarily what class you're in. It's literally just about, we live in a nation that gives the option of, I don't want to be a parent. We live in a nation that gives the option of, I don't need to be in cooperation with our community. And as far as I'm concerned, Black conservatives do not address the needs of the working class, which are fair access.
We gave her too much time. That girl just talking and just saying the craziest things. First and foremost, she contradicts herself to a certain degree. And I'm going to play a little bit more of the clip and some other people that just took her to the house. She's saying her dad, she talk about systemic racism and that the country there's obstacles that white people put into place. But then she says her dad, and she was in a single parent home, even though her dad was very educated, because he just didn't want to be a dad. Ma'am, that's a personal decision that ABL is talking about. Personal responsibility is what the other gentleman was talking about. How is the white man involved with your dad being that educated and not want to be a dad? Like, is that the true story, or your mama is the problem? One of the two things are happening. None of them have to do with white people. Is ABL going to get a chance to talk on this or not? Roll the clip.
To resources, which are equal access to getting jobs, which are equal pay to the same access as others. And we don't.
Equal to who?
Equal to other states even. Like, there's no reality where you can say that the same amount of white people are working low-wage jobs per capita as Black people. A lot of the reason is because there's such a disparate incarceration of Black people that it impedes their ability to get higher.
Well, there's another.
All right, next person.
Well, there's another ABL clip if you're interested.
Give me the next clip.
Okay.
Come on, I'm finna yell at my own people today.
All right, reparations.
Come on.
Fair.
Hold on, pause. Sorry y'all had to listen to Amanda Seals talk for 2 minutes. I thought this was ABL getting a chance to give his side of it. I think this is the clip. Roll the clip.
Necessary. My question would be, who's going to get it? Why would they get it? And how long are we going to sit here focusing on trying to get reparations? It's been how many years since slavery? 150 years, 1865? Whenever there's a real thing that this country wants to do, they do it. Stop Asian hate. Okay, there's a problem with the Asian hate. Let's draft a bill, sign it, and it's done. Anything that needs to be done is done. With us, it's a carrot they dangle in front of us that they don't really want to do. And it's not going to help. We need education. Oh, it's not going to help. No, it's not. We need education. Getting a check from the government is not going to do that. And we need proper education. A lot of us go to these institutions where we're not really prepared, we're not really focused, and we don't get things that help us in the real world. So if you want to help Black people, a check from the government, from our tax dollars is going to get raised, because let's be clear, everybody in here is Black. we all American, we all got to pay taxes. It'll go to that. So I don't really see how this is going to help us at all.
Okay. Well, first I'll start with it will help on even just a moral level. The reality is that the United States has become very comfortable with the fact that it does not consider black people equal. And it shows that in many ways that I'm sure we will discuss over the course of today. But ultimately, there has not been a committed, concerted effort to shifting the mindset around the use of black people as a labor force in this nation back when it was slavery, now in the use of slavery as slave
People
labor
falling
in
asleep
prisons.
on her, boy.
So on a basic cultural level, reparations are an act of repair. They are an effort to say, our bad, we see you now. We have seen that done with Japanese folks who were put in internment camps. We have seen that done with Jewish folks. We have seen that done even in the case of slave owners who received reparations. When it comes to the use of tax dollars to pay reparations, and this is going to come up a lot today, it's a matter of values, right? For me, my value
Hold on.
system.
It's hard to even listen to this girl. I got to jump in here. First and foremost, reparations logistically is almost impossible, because if you're going to give any black person any substantive amount of money, it's going to be probably $1 trillion. Trillions. There's 40 million black people that live in America, right? 40 million. How much money do you think people are going to accept as reparations? 40 million black people. Let's do some math real quick. 40 million. Hold on, let me get the million up there. How much you think they're gonna give a black person that make any sense? If you gave 40 million black people $10, that you already at 400 million. Right? You gave 40 million black people $100, you at 4 billion already. That's 100. You give them 1,000, you at 40 billion. You give them 10,000, you at 400 billion. I mean, how much? $10,000 gone in I don't know, 2 days? No, realistically, I think the average person probably can go through $10,000 in, I don't know, 3 months. You can give them 100,000? That's $4 trillion. So where are we gonna get $4 trillion to give each black person 100,000? And 100,000 don't last. But think about it. Somebody that's doing really well in life makes $100,000 a year. I think that's really good. Average earning income is $50,000. So that lasts you 2 years. The country is going to go in debt $4 trillion for people to live for 2 years. That's not going to do anything for anybody. And then who's going to pay for it? Brain dummy back on the screen. Who's going to pay for it? Black people are going to contribute to $4 trillion in taxes just to pay themselves back $100,000. Yeah, you can't. Like, what are we even saying? What are we even saying? And then let's do this. They don't want black people. They claim that black people cannot get identification enough to vote. How are they going to determine if you're really a descendant of slaves or not? Now, what kind of resource and money are we going to spend to do DNA tests to determine if each black person that qualify or that apply will qualify for benefits of being a descendant from Africa or descendants from slaves? Are they going to spend another $800 billion to try to get everybody tested? And then how long is it going to last? Is it generational, or is it everybody that's currently alive today? It's just stupid. It's never going to work. I wrote a clip. Is she talking most of the time or not? Yeah. Well, give me the next person. I'm sorry to do you like this, ABL. Maybe we'll do you better next time. Wrote a clip.
Conversation with a beautiful black woman like yourself. This is nice, beautiful arena here. I disagree that reparations are necessary. I think the most important thing that's necessary right now for the black community would be the stopping of violence, especially black on black violence. I don't see how reparations is going to solve anything. You can give everyone here like a $50,000, especially people that are in the streets who are committing violent crimes consistently, a $50,000 check. It's not going to fix anything. It's not going to increase the median household income in the next 10 years by 10% or 20%. For example, we had the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882. We prevented Chinese people from getting citizenship and even entering the country. We discriminated against them and basically put them under apartheid, even here in the United States. Yet they have the highest median household income. How is that possible? How come they don't complain and feel entitled consistently to beg for reparations and beg for this when they are killing each other 90% of the time, which is the rate that black people kill each other, according to the FBI?
Oh, young Matt.
Yet white people are the oppressors.
I'm not sure where your education came from, but they lied to you.
Stats don't lie, though.
Statistics lie all the time. So let's start there, particularly when the statistics are coming from the sources that gain from the statistics being shown a different way. So if you're going to start your argument on stats don't lie, you've already lost the argument. They lie. They lie all the time. One, comparing Chinese people who are immigrants that made a choice to come to the United States and comparing the continued effort of Black people to ground themselves in a nation that continues to make impediments for them to show and live and exist in their true citizenship is a false equivalency.
I don't believe that happens at all. No one here is in.
Are you
being
acting
impinged on
right now?
anything.
Do you really
I'm
believe
telling
this?
the truth. There's no systemic racism that I've experienced here in America. What system is racist? I think the only racism we've actually seen recently, systemic racism that we've seen, is the application of systemic racism against white people. The University of Western Washington, for example, has been trying to segregate dormitories, using Black-only dormitories because Black people feel safer amongst each other. But they're more likely to kill each other than white people are ever to kill them. That's just the truth. You have King Von rapping about killing other Black men. Why should I think that the white man is the oppressor when Black men are more likely to kill me?
Oh my
Tell me.
God, this is scary.
Oh my God,
you
this
need
is
to think
facts.
about me as your mama. Do not talk to me in that fashion. So let's check that now.
Okay.
Okay. So on a basic level, we have to understand that systemic racism is grounded in the realities that Black people have not been considered an equal human being in this country since its onset. So there's simply no way to make the argument that there isn't systemic racism, and we have seen in very clear ways the system operate in an organically racist way. Do not cut me off. When we talk about systemic racism, we can start with even the fact that redlining, which was implemented to discriminate Black communities. Are you shaking your head that redlining doesn't exist?
No, I'm saying I don't think it really existed at all. I mean, no, I don't think so at all.
So it does exist, and stating that it
Pause it
doesn't
real quick. Here's the fact check that's on the screen right now. It says redlining is a practice of denying mortgage to those who live in neighborhoods considered risky. Lenders targeted Black and immigrant communities in urban areas. The practice was outlawed in 1964. The Jubilee's testimony to this is not true. It is not true. Go. I employ every single person that's watching this. Go and do your research about redlining. And I did a whole thing about this. But the redlining that they claim now wasn't even in practice back when they claimed redlining was happening. They had high-risk areas which the government supported more than other areas. They listed areas as red areas that were higher risk, and in many government programs, except for one, allotted more money for Black people, gave them more benefits to buy homes in red areas. So the redlining technically, out of 3 government companies or 3 government campaigns, you could say, only one showed discriminatory behavior against Black people. The other 2 helped people and disproportionately helped Black people in red areas. Now, let's put this in perspective, and you can look this up. In these red areas, that's why they called it redlining, because it was areas that needed more help. There were more white people that lived in the red areas than Black people did. So when they talk about redlining, they were redlining based on poverty numbers. More white people were in the red line areas than Blacks. Why are they not talking about that? Then when you look at it as well, they disproportionately helped the Black people who were in the red areas more so than the ones who were outside of the red areas. So when you go and look at redlining, you say that's not the totality of circumstances. It wasn't just that lenders said we're not going to lend to Black people. There were high risk areas that people that could not afford to pay the lending money. And so they were risk averse to giving certain loans to these people. But the government stepped in and helped them. And it's only one. I wish I had the stuff in front of me. I don't remember all the names. But if you go and look it up, there was one government program that did discriminate. And it was proven discrimination. That's one. The other 2 campaigns were all effectively helping Black people who had homes to help them refinance or remortgage their home or refinance their homes. And it was other programs that help Black people get homes for the first time. And so there's a lot of stuff in there that I think that they are not articulating clearly. I may do an op-ed on this. Y'all stay tuned. I'm going to try to write an op-ed on what redlining really was, because this is a topic that I think a lot of people get misunderstood. Roll the clip.
Exists doesn't make it no longer exist. Redlining absolutely exists. It is not a It is not something that's being made up. It's an empirical fact. And there are realities that exist because of redlining. We know that school systems are related to the way that property taxes are affecting the school systems. If a school system is not getting the same property value as the property taxes allow it, then it's not going to have the same efficacy at allowing for students to be able to get what they deserve. When we talk about systemic racism, we have to acknowledge that these private prisons are literally built based on the test scores of school students in third grade. So if you are literally building prisons with the onset of, okay, if these people are not reaching a certain reading level, then we know that they're going to go down a prison industrial pipeline where we can use their free labor. Then how is that not systemic? And if you want to
stop them from entering prisons.
How are you going to stop people from entering prisons if your goal is to get them into prison?
Sure, make them try to be more like Ben Carson than be like King Von. That's very, very simple.
So how does King Von happen? How does King Von happen?
King Von
reparations.
Let
me land the plane. We're talking about reparations, and what you're doing is actually just trying to get this conversation off the facts. And the fact is, reparations are just and necessary because on a basic level, black people built this country, and the country continues to thrive off of the labor that black people put into this country. And it would behoove you, young man, to really understand the way that your ancestors put blood, sweat, and tears into this nation that is still living off of those blood, sweat, and tears. And let me also add, there are reparations and then there is remunerations. Do you know the difference?
Yes, but can I finish one point that I wanted to say? Ben Carson's cousins were killed at a very young.
I'm so sorry. You've been voted out by the majority. Okay. Please return to your seat.
Okay, let's talk about this because, like I said, when you go and do research, don't always rely on ChatGPT because I think ChatGPT in this little research that I'm doing right here is not telling the full story. Go and research ChatGPT and then go other places and find a common denominator because ChatGPT is going to be biased, I think, in some cases, right? But just to explain a little bit about what I was saying, it says redlining was practice that began in the 1930s with the federal government through the Homeowners Loan Corporation, which is AOLC, created color code maps of cities. These maps ranked neighborhoods by risks for mortgage lending, right? There was green areas was the best, and they claimed that it was mostly white. And this is where they fall short here, and it's crazy. And the blue is still desirable, yellow is declining, and red is hazardous. The areas that are marked red were overwhelming where black families lived. But they don't tell you that more white people lived in those areas than black people. It's just where most black people lived. But there was more white people that lived there than black people, which is something that is not saying in this thing on ChatGPT, as well as some immigrants, working class communities. Banks backed by federal policies routinely deny mortgages and business loans to those red areas. Now, there's a difference between mortgage and business loans versus refinancing houses at a lower rate, which they're not explicitly saying nowhere in this thing on ChatGPT, which is incredibly disappointing because you have to go outside of this to try to find the truth. And even in this thing, it says that race was explicitly part of the criteria when it wasn't. I think only for the Federal Housing Administration it was, but for some of the other, it wasn't even the Federal Housing Administration. For some of the other ones, it wasn't. I'm gonna find the article that I had and I'm gonna present it to you guys because even this is being illegitimate. And the reason why is because it's gonna pull from articles that are written, and most articles are written disingenuously. But there was an article that I wrote. I thought I saved it somewhere. That had the facts on there. Let's see, redlining. Give me another clip and while I'm looking this up. I think we got one more clip. Yeah, I gotta debunk this redline thing. It's gonna bother me. But just go ahead, we'll watch this clip and then I'm gonna get to the redlining thing.
Oh, what's that on your chain?
This is a coin from Israel.
Lord have mercy.
Yes, you gotta go.
That's a choice that you are making for yourself.
Yes. The thing with the whole reparations thing, and I don't know, we're probably close to the same age, so maybe you can't call me.
How old are you?
I'm 32.
I am 44.
Oh, really? Oh, you look young.
Thank you. That's what water and keeping stress out of your life will do.
Really? Mm-hmm. Liberal positions are real stressful.
By the way, I wouldn't know. I'm not a liberal. Carry on.
Well, it's the liberal position because conservatives believe in hard work. We believe in going to work and working for what you got, not asking for handouts from people who never had slaves. Some of the people that you're asking for money from never had slaves. And let's talk about the fact there were also black people that had slaves. So if you want to talk about that, how is that fair? If I'm a white person and my family fought on the side of the Union, why should I have to pay for slaves when this whole country was never all racist? Some of the founding fathers were abolitionists, and they hated slavery. And they actually put things in the Declaration of Independence and things too, because they believed that there would be a future where there would be a black president one day, or that there would be people in leadership that were black. There was people in the North who helped with the Underground Railroad and fought with the Union. So why is that fair for people who never had slaves, who fought against slavery, to have to pay for people that had slaves?
One, from my understanding, you are more interested in preserving the fairness of those who didn't have slaves than the fairness of those who are the descendants of slaves. That is priority to you than finding a fair way to accommodate those who have been the descendant of slaves.
Well, our ancestors wasn't asking for handouts. They were asking for equal opportunity. And we have equal opportunity in this country. We had a black president, just in case you didn't know. We had a black president and we had a black vice president. I think she was black. They said she was black. I don't know. So we had a black president, and you know who voted for that black man? White people, because you can't win a popular election in this country without white people. So Barack Obama is the product of white people. So let's get off this thing where, oh, America is so racist. What's making America so racist is people that continue to talk about racism and continue to focus on racism instead of focusing on unity and bringing our country forward. People that have this liberal mindset are infecting our communities, black people, and making us victims and not victors. I refuse to embrace a victim mentality, because that's not what our grandparents and Harriet Tubman and those people fought for. They fought for equal opportunity.
Do not bring up Harriet Tubman's name in vain, baby, please.
They said the Lord's name in vain. The Lord's name.
Harriet Tubman was literally saving her family and others from slavery.
Yeah. You know who helped her? White people.
You know who helped her?
They were on the Underground Railroad. Come on in.
No, you know who helped her?
Come on in.
No, you know who helped her?
God and
people who benefit from white supremacy. One of the things
it's a lie. White supremacy is a lie.
No, sir,
it's
that's
a
simply
lie.
not
There's
true.
No such,
if that were not the case, then we wouldn't see the continued effort of colonialism and white people placing themselves in positions of power when they do not have the power.
Because their culture. Black culture is toxic. The black culture is toxic. We have produced a culture that is toxic. And let's get on the fact that there's no fathers in the black home. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Stop.
Let's talk about that.
None of this is gonna work if y'all are just gonna sit here and make up shit.
It's
not gonna work. No, a debate has to be in facts.
You're putting off emotional liberalism right now.
I am not putting off emotional liberalism. You're putting off unfounded lies based in conservatism.
Misinformation. Remember they did the misinformation thing all summer, where everything conservative did. They said misinformation.
You're carrying a chain around your neck of an apartheid nation that actively wants to harm black people and non-Jewish people.
Time out. God dang it. The dude went to Israel and had a coin, and he wore it around his neck because he liked the coin from Israel, which is where Jesus came from. So if you're a Christian and you have any admonishment of the land in the state of Israel, somehow you're a problem. Then this woman said an apartheid state that actively is against black people. You can't be that stupid. What does Israel got to do with black people? I was in Israel. Ain't nobody had nothing negative to say about me. What are we saying here? Anyway, let me let her finish. Apartheid state. Shut the front door. Roll the clip.
Let me bring it back.
Selling black people in Africa.
That was not happening in the context that you're saying.
And they were selling their own people. Black people still sell their own people today too, by the way.
I don't know if I'm going to last.
We're selling our own people today too.
I don't know if I'm going to last.
You probably won't last with me.
I won't, because your ignorance is so overwhelming.
See, that's liberals. Y'all start name calling when y'all getting defeated in an argument.
You won't have an argument because you keep cutting me off.
Oh, well, that's fine if they don't let me come back on. I made my point.
You didn't make your point.
I made my point.
You haven't made your point. And let me just tell you about your point. You started off saying, we believe in hard work.
Yeah.
And we believe in being compensated.
Reparations is not, though. Reparations is not hard work. It's stealing. It's Robin Hood.
You said you believe in hard work.
Yes.
and you believe in being compensated for hard work.
Yes.
Were slaves compensated for their work?
They weren't compensated for their work. But why should people who are sitting at home playing video games, smoking marijuana,
Are you sitting at
be
home
giving
playing a video game?
checks?
Are
But
you
no, the
sitting at
people that
home
they-
playing a video game?
The people that they wanting
Am I
reparations
sitting at home
for-
playing a video game? No.
The people
And
they
I don't
want
know
reparations
I don't
for-
know who these people are that you're talking about, because the majority of the black community
Hold on, time out.
is not sitting.
The argument that slaves didn't get paid is the stupidest argument ever. They're slaves. Slaves don't get paid for their work. Their payment is survival, meaning they get fed and they get housed and they work. That's their payment. Now, if you want to say slavery is wrong, then okay. But you cannot act like a slave deserves to be getting paid a fair wage. Then they wouldn't be a slave. These people were slaves. It was a legal process. We disagree with it today. We think it's barbaric today, but slavery was legal. And so you don't owe people who were slaves anything. As a gesture to generations from slavery, you can give people money to get a leg up in society where they have been made whole, but you can't act like slaves deserve a living wage. They were actually slaves, and people actually had to spend money to purchase them and provide for them and do all the other stuff that is necessary to keep human beings alive. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just telling you what it is. And to make the argument that did they get paid for what they, I wish the young man, it's kind of hard to do this on the spot, but the young man should have said slaves don't, that is a moot point. That's a straw man argument. Slaves don't get money. They're slaves. That's like saying the people in prison, no, but you're in prison, bro. You don't get the chance to work and do things. You're in prison. You don't somehow, if you get let out, you get reparations for being in prison. You were in prison. And black people have gotten many programs and handouts that supersede reparations by far. Affirmative action. That's a form of reparations. All the other stuff that black people get. You get benefits of being a black-owned business. I mean, all of these different things that black people get, that's a form of reparations. And anyway, I could keep going. I mean, here you go. Somebody said you are wrong, slaves were paid. Yes, some slaves were paid, right? Harriet Tubman had a job. She was able to work and be a slave, and she was married. Harriet Tubman was not getting paid. I mean, so there are some people that were slaves that weren't getting paid, right? You're not going to get paid as a slave. You have nowhere to spend the money. You are somebody's property. So there were slaves that were not getting paid. The payment was feeding you and keeping you alive. Then there were our slaves that could go and work and make a living for themselves. So you could say that. Then there were some slaves that, you owned them, but they could live on their own and do other stuff like that. Like Harriet Tubman, she was married to a man that was free, and they lived together. Make that make sense. So she would go to work. She would come home. Her husband would go to work. He would make money. But she, by law, was a slave to this guy. And eventually she would have been made free. Some of her family members had been made free. Maybe her husband could purchase her freedom. So it's dynamic. Not everybody was on a plantation picking cotton. And, there were some people that were slaves. Like today, the service industry is almost like slavery in some cases, where a person is serving. So some of these people were slaves to serve. But anyway, roll the clip.
At home playing video games.
The majority of the black
Where are you
community is
getting
doing a
that
lot of
statistic?
things.
Where are you
A lot
getting
of
that
things is not
statistic?
right.
Pause. You've been voted out.
So he got voted off. I think that was the last one, right? That was the last clip. So you can go look at Jubilee and see the rest of it. I think that most of it's good. I'm sorry, ABL, we didn't give you a better chance. I don't know if you interjected enough. But just back to the when I was talking about redlining, there's an article here that was written, an academic journal that was written about redlining that disproves all the myths that they have out there today. It gives more details. And this is what I was talking about. What I'm going to do is condense it for you guys. I'll give you reference points to this article, but I'm going to condense it for you guys. Go follow me on Substack. It's Tatum Report on Substack. Officer Tatum, I'm the author and owner of the Tatum Report on Substack. I kind of want to revive my Tatum Report thing again. So if you go follow me on Tatum Report on Substack, I'll write this op-ed probably tomorrow, because I wrote one for today and I need to take a break. So because it takes a long time to write these things. So I'm gonna write an op-ed on reparations. So keep a lookout for it. Because it's going to be something that I think a lot of people need to hear to give a different perspective. They act like black people just cornered off on redlining. Majority of the people that lived in the red areas were white. But majority of black people lived in red areas, if you know what I'm saying. So you look at the population of red areas, you say, where do most of the black people live? The red areas. Well, who occupied most of the red area? White people. Why don't they criticize redlining against white people and say that it held the white people back that were in redlining areas? It's because they're fraudulent people, man. And they hate America, and they want to just keep us divided by telling lies every other day. I'm going to write that thing so we can all be on the same page. All right, we just had that cooking session on Jubilee. I wanted to play this clip of Raven Simone because I just think it fits good with the Jubilee clip. This is just take it for what it is. Y'all ready? Just play the clip. It's only a minute clip. I have never heard anybody articulate the perspective of why they are not African American. I've never heard anybody articulate it as clear and concise as Raven Simone did in 1 minute and 20 seconds. Roll the clip.
To eat my own words and apologize.
Oh, what'd you say about me?
That interview you did with Oprah, where she asked you if you were,
Yeah.
African American or whatever. And
You got mad at me?
Listen.
I am not an African American. I'm an American. I am a Black American. I am definitely Black. And yes, my ancestors come from Africa. How long does a bloodline have to live in one land before they are considered a pure species of that land? Meaning, how long did my people have to be in America to say, hey, no, we're American, compared to some people who are English American, who are Irish American, who are German American from their ancestors, but they get to call themselves American. There's nothing wrong with being African American, but a true African American is someone that is from Africa and moved here, either first generation or second generation, and has a tie to that country that I do not have. One of the first census in Virginia that allowed for Black people to have a name was somebody from my family. So that means they were there long before. I think there comes a point where when you build a country, when you fight for freedom, make money and pay taxes and generationally live in a country, you have the privilege to call yourself pure American.
How do people not get that? Like, why do we have to be others in this country? And we were here from nearly the foundation of this country. Like, black people been here from the foundation before 1776. Black people had been here way before that. We were British colonies. Like, black people had been here way before that, 1600s. And to be honest, the natives and Africans had been doing business for thousands of years before even Christopher Columbus came here. But black people have been a part of this from almost the very beginning. The first legal slave owner was a black man. I do not understand how on planet Earth we still argue about the African American thing. We should be called Americans. You know, it all started from white supremacy, which black people still hold true to white supremacy, although white people have let it go. White people are saying, for the most part, the conservative whites are saying, we all American. Black people are like, no, we not. Well, wait a minute. The white supremacists wanted you not to be an American, wanted only white people to be American. Everybody else to be other. Just like the mixed kids. When you mix kids, they want the mixed kids to be black and they can't have any white heritage. And dumb Negroes and others buy into the white supremacist trope or the white supremacist theology. I don't know if they know it or not. It's stupid. I'm an American. When I go to Israel, I'm not black in Israel. I'm an American. I'm not Israeli. I'm an American. When I go to China or something, I never go to China. But when I go somewhere else, like when I go to Europe, what am I? I'm an American. Because there's other black people in Europe. But the difference is I'm an American and they're European. When I go to Canada, which I didn't think any black people lived in Canada, but I guess they do. I'm not black like you. I'm an American. You're Canadian. We are not the same. Now, I'm not saying we better than Canadians. I'm not saying that yet. I'm not saying that. I do think we better, not as individuals, but as a country. I think we're better than Canada. I think Canadians would agree with me. But as individuals, bro, at the end of the day, when you going around the world, you're like, no, that person's American. Duh. All right, I just want to play a clip because I think she did an absolutely tremendous job laying it out there. There's two other things I want to talk about, and I want to make them quick. The first one is going to be I'm going to switch to Marco Rubio real quick because the left hates everything that Donald Trump is doing. I want to somebody moderate this person that's putting pig in my thing. Is somebody have moderation, right? The dude's just spamming the thing. Anyway, I feel like the left literally hates every single thing that Donald Trump does. And they legitimately go on the air. They have people that research for them. They have they got 50, 60 people working on one show. They look up evidence to prove them wrong, and they still overshoot the evidence they have to lie about Donald Trump. Here's a perfect example of how they're trying to gear a narrative against Donald Trump. For no reason. The guy is literally trying to negotiate peace between Putin and Zelensky, and they have to come up with every plot and scheme to make him look bad. Roll the clip.
You know, there is concern from the Europeans that President Zelensky is going to be bullied into signing something away. That's why you have these European leaders coming as backup tomorrow. Can you?
No, it isn't. That's not why they're coming as back. That's not true. No, but that's not that's not true. They're not coming here tomorrow to keep Zelensky from being bullied. They're not coming.
That February Oval Office
they're coming here
meeting
tomorrow
in front of television cameras where President Zelensky.
Do you know how many meetings we've had since then?
Oh no, I know, and I was just up in Alaska watching the one with
then.
Vladimir Putin where a red carpet rolled out.
No, but it was Zelensky. We've had more meetings. We've had one meeting with Putin and like a dozen meetings with Zelensky. So, but that's not true. They're not coming here tomorrow to keep Zelensky from being bullied. They're coming here tomorrow because we've been working with the Europeans. We talked to them last week. There were meetings in the UK over the previous weekend.
And they said President Trump was going to demand a ceasefire
as early as Thursday. No. But you said that they're coming here tomorrow to keep Zelensky from being bullied. They're not coming here tomorrow. Oh, this is such a stupid media narrative that they're coming here tomorrow because Trump is going to bully Zelensky into a bad deal. We've been working with these people for weeks on this stuff. They're coming here tomorrow because they chose to come here tomorrow. We invited them to come. We invited them to come. The president invited them to come.
But the president told those European leaders last week that he wanted a ceasefire. The president went on television, said he would walk out of the meeting if Vladimir Putin didn't agree with one. He said there would be severe consequences if he didn't agree to one. He said he'd walk out in 2 minutes. He spent 3 hours talking to Vladimir Putin, and he did not get one. So there's
because
some
obviously things happened during that meeting. Well, because obviously look, our goal here is not to stage some production for the world to say, oh, how dramatic, he walked out. Our goal here is to have a peace agreement, to end this war, okay? And obviously we felt, and I agreed, that there was enough progress, not a lot of progress, but enough progress made in those talks to allow us to move to the next phase. If not, we wouldn't be having Zelensky flying all the way over here. We wouldn't be having all the Europeans coming all the way over here. Now understand, and take with a grain of salt, I'm not saying we're on the verge of a peace deal, but I am saying that we saw movement, enough movement to justify a follow-up meeting with Zelensky and the Europeans, enough movement for us to dedicate even more time to this. You talk about the sanctions. Look, at the end of the day, if peace is not going to be possible here, and this is just going to continue on as a war, people will continue to die by the thousands. The president has that option to then come in and impose new sanctions. But if he did this now, the moment the president puts those additional sanctions, that's the end of the talks. You've basically locked in at least another year to year and a half of war and death and destruction. We may unfortunately wind up there, but we don't want to wind up there. We want to wind up with a peace deal that ends this war so Ukraine can go on with the rest of their lives and rebuild their country and be assured that this is never going to happen again. That's the goal here. We're going to do everything possible to make that happen if it's doable. It will require both sides to make concessions. It will require both sides to get things they're asking for. That's how these deals are made, whether we like it or not.
What's wrong with what Marco Rubio said? Why is the media coming at Zelensky didn't get bullied. That fool got disrespectful, so we got on his head when he came here. What are we talking about, bro? Why is everybody so wussified with a P? I don't get it. Why is everybody wussies, bro? I'm never gonna understand this. You come to America, you lucky we don't swing on you. I mean, that's me. You come in our country and you talking big on the JD Vance had to get on his head, bro. You don't come to America being disrespectful, demanding that we do stuff, bro. We'll whoop you and throw you outside. You lucky you make it out of here. Bro, I couldn't be the president. I'd be like, get out of here, bro. You got one more time to fix your mouth to say something crazy to America, and I might put my hands on you. So shut your mouth and listen to what we got to say, or are we going to throw you out of here? I'll throw you out myself. You want to get busy or not? Now, I won't say all that, but that's what I feel. We be rocking around. Zelensky was bullied. No, it's America, fool. You better come here with some respect. Put some respect on. Put a suit on. You see, put a suit on the second time, didn't he? Put a suit on, bro. Respect the office. Coming to our country acting a fool. We'll throw you out of here. With your little self. Homeboy, 4'4". Okay, we slap him out of the front door. Man, here talking crazy to us. Then the crazy thing is our media is like, it's a bad thing to meet with Putin. Well, we were trying to negotiate. You guys are so weird to me. We shouldn't talk to nobody who's a person doing killing. We want to make a deal, fool. You get him in the room. Roll out the carpet. Who cares? It's a negotiation. Make him feel good so he can agree to something we want him to agree with. None of you fools ever negotiated anything. Nothing. You have no negotiation skills. You haven't even read a book about negotiating. Sometimes you got to posture. You know, when you're getting ready to do a deal with somebody, invite them to a really good dinner. Pay for it. Your favorite restaurant. All whatever you want, it's on me. Take them somewhere nice. Butter them up a little bit. Make them feel good and confident that they're doing business with a real boss. And then you have negotiating chips. Like, for instance, when I do business, anybody ever been in my headquarters? It's a beautiful facility, 15,000 square foot, glass, mountain views. It's beautiful. It's spectacular. It's breathtaking to a certain degree. In my personal opinion. Now we can fix a little areas around here, but it's breathtaking. It's all tech savvy. Every room has its own Sonos music system, smart TVs and all that stuff. It's all there. This is probably one of the highest tech places that you're going to get. That's a screen printing shop plus all other stuff. Regardless of that, when people come to my office, they sit in my office on my couch that is a multi-$1,000 couch, and I sit facing my TV and they sit facing the mountain. So we having a conversation. They looking at a mountain view. Why do you do that, Brad? Because it builds your reputational prowess with people that want to do business with you, because they know that you got stuff going on for you. Every time people come here, they like, this is a big deal. Yeah, they realize that I'm really doing something. I'm not cheaping out on the building. I don't cheap out on my staff. I don't do none of that stuff. But that's what it takes in negotiation for you to posture. But the fact that these people don't want Donald Trump to win and they would just make up lies to make him look bad is crazy to me. They will prioritize Zelensky's feelings over Donald Trump, who's our president. Come here correct. The Europeans coming here. If Trump want to bully people, man, Trump will bully people in front of the Europeans. What are we talking about? All right, I got one last story I want to hit real quick. I can't do this long. I got to go. I got to go in like 5 minutes. I'm gonna skip this story. I can't miss my flight. Shout out to everybody. I'm headed to Vegas, so if you got a podcast you want me to be on, you better hit me up now. Love you guys. Let me see if there's some super chats real quick. I'll take control. All right, let's see. Sue them. Dolores, thank you so much. Mama Mambo, thank you so much. They drive like that and love to essay women and kids in their country. Shut the border. 1,000%. Shut the border. We don't need more people. We got enough. Let's take care of the people here, and then we can reconsider. TJ, thank you so much for joining the Tatum Squad. Hey, I appreciate you. I love you guys. I'm out. Peace.
Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave. I'm a proud American from my birth.